Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of Spectator Mode, the only podcast on the internet that will not hold your computer ransom until we get 100 million followers. I am your host, JJ Piedra, Joshua Jeremiah, and I am joined, as always, by the incumbent, Mr. Keith Mitchell. What's going on, Keith?
Games. A lot of games. In fact, a game that I took off work to play, but I won't mention it.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Because we're a gaming podcast, and you will mention it.
It's Sekiro. The hips don't lie.
There it is. He name dropped it. And also, making his triumphant return to the podcast after a 2-week absence, our man from down under, Mice, Carl Smart. What's going on, man?
Lots and lots of not gaming, which is a very sad thing to put onto a gaming podcast. But there have been plenty of things that have gathered my interest, so I come here in an opinionated sort of way.
Absolutely. That is the whole point of a podcast, to give our opinions and to bitch about things, right, Keith?
I also thought about something that I'm going to add after the fact. It's kind of funny. But yes, we are a podcast to bitch about things. Speaking about bitching, let's go ahead and start bitching. Let's start the bitch fest. So you're reminding me of a bad situation I'm still going through with the United States Postal Service. So I had purchased tickets to PAX East 2019 last year. However, due to certain situations, I'm not able to go this year. So I sold my badges to someone and I shipped them out on March 6th. I shipped them priority mail with insurance, and they were supposed to get to that person by the Friday. It never got there. So I said, okay, we'll give it a couple of days. Never got there. Fast forward, it's been about a week and a half, and I'm like, okay, there's a problem here. So I'm calling up the Postal Service. I'm like, where is my mail? Oh, fill this form out, fill this claim out, and then we'll go look for it. So I do that. They call me back 2 days later and tell me, oh, it never left your main postal service, your main post office. You need to go down and talk to them. So I go down there, and I'm heated. So my wife came with me because she didn't want me doing anything stupid. So I'm down there talking to him, and the guy's denying that it was still there. It got shipped out. They don't know what happened to it. They don't know why. The other postal service told me it was there. And I'm like, but this is the same shit you assholes did to me last time when I shipped out a $300 camera that I insured, and you denied the claim. So I had to give the guy back his money, and I lost my camera. So I waited a couple more days. I told the guy, hey, we're going through this issue with the Postal Service. And I told him everything, and I gave him the claim information. So he was on the same page as I was. 2 days ago, I was like, you know what? PAX is around the corner. I'm just going to file an insurance claim. I refunded back his money. I said, here's other place you can go buy your tickets. Because I felt bad because PAX is next week. And I felt really bad that the guy didn't have his tickets. So I wanted him to be able to go out and see if he can find some more tickets. Lo and behold, they tell me they found my mail after I gave the guy back his refund. So I told the guy, hey, they found the tickets, can you give me back the money? And he's like, well, I already brought new tickets. So he says, when the tickets get here, I will send them back next day. And I'm like, all right. But in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't know if he's actually going to do that, but that's a nice gesture. So I hit up the post office again, and I was like, can I intercept this package? Oh, yeah, pay us $15, we'll intercept the package. And I'm like, but you're the reason why I'm having this issue. Why am I paying you more money? So I relented. I gave him the money 3 days ago, and the package is now where it's not supposed to be. So I'm like, what was the point of me paying you to intercept this package? So I'm trying to get the stuff back so I can possibly sell these tickets before PAX East, which is next Thursday, which is not going to happen. So basically, I'm out of the money the guy gave me for the tickets, and I'm out of the tickets. Hopefully the tickets come back to me. I'm still out of $150-something because of the tickets, but at least I'll have them back. So I've had nothing but a nightmare with the post office. And this is why I am never sending any big priced items through the postal office ever again. I'm done. I will pay the extra and send it through UPS or FedEx. I'm done with the United States Postal Service. They've done nothing but screw me around multiple times. I just cannot go through it again.
Yeah, I think at this point, Keith, you're going to get those tickets back. You're going to just drop them on the floor throw a match on them and just cry salty tears as you watch like the
Oh no,
spirits of the Postal Service wail from them.
I purchased a brand new printer. Oh, sorry, shredder a couple days ago to shred my documents. They're going in there.
And then you're going to burn them, right?
Well, they're plastic. I don't know if I want to burn plastic.
Sure you do. Fire solves everything.
I'm just so pissed off the fact that 2 weeks, and then the day I decide to refund the guy's money, we found your tickets. And then when I told you to send them back to me, you ignored me. So, I mean, at the very least, I'm going to go back to the post office and go, look, I want my money back for the interception. I want my money back from the priority service. And I want my money back for the damn insurance because you did nothing. I know they're not going to do it, but I'm still going to demand it.
So you should throw a shot grenade in there and just watch them get stunned and then mowed down by a machine gun like what happened to me in the Division 2. Segue.
Well, if it wasn't a federal building, that might be a good idea. But it is.
I just do it during a government shutdown. No one will notice then or care.
Are we still in a government shutdown? I haven't paid attention anymore. I just don't care.
No, we're out of it. It's just just wait for the next one because with Trump at the helm, there's going to be another one. So just wait for that to happen.
So they didn't announce it anywhere. They didn't talk about it like, oh, hey, it's over. It's over. Whatever.
No, they announced it. They announced it a while back. Like
I didn't hear
a month and a half ago.
I heard nothing about it.
Huh. Well, I guess they didn't want people to know they were getting their money back. So I don't know.
Speaking of which, I'm going to go look at this claim again. Speaking of segues, like you say, something about the division minus multiply. What was that you said? I didn't hear you. I was
something about shot grenades, getting stunned in place, getting mowed down by enemies while you're stunned and can't move, all that good stuff. But yeah, the Division 2 came out, and of course, being fans of the first one, we all picked it up. We're kind of playing it, and personally, I actually am kind of on the fence of whether or not I like this game. Mainly because it feels just like the Division 1 with slight improvements to it. So obviously, enemy AI is a little bit different. It's a little more advanced this time around. So, you got some people going to full prone position and shooting you from the ground now. You've got, enemies taking better cover, realizing when you're getting close and readjusting their positions a little bit better versus like they did in the first one. Some of the weapons hurt a lot more. I found myself getting absolutely destroyed versus the first game. I don't know if it's because I was at maximum level and I was wearing better armor at max level, but it feels like my actual armor disappeared. And in normal situations, I'm like, oh, I could take a couple hits and eat some bullets while I mow this guy down. And oh wait, I'm dead. Oh, that happened a lot faster than I thought it would. So damage is definitely ramped up just a little bit, unless I'm just misremembering how early levels went. I don't know. That could be the case. Difficulty factor is a little bit higher, I would say. Not too much. Like if you're going into a capture point zone, which is actually something new that's in this game, you can call for backup for NPCs, or you can charge in by yourself and then die a lot. Even while you're waiting for the NPCs to show up, you could still die a lot because there's just too many enemies there for you to take on by yourself without strategic planning.
I do it by myself, and then I only summon the allies when I've already claimed the point, so they can help me defend. When I need to storm it, no, I'd rather do it myself because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very punishing if you're the type of person who goes in there guns blazing without any plan or strategy, where your only strategy is kill, kill, kill. You're going to die over and over a lot. I found that out the hard way.
It's called a sniper rifle.
Yeah, it is. Always have one. I didn't have one. I had a shotgun and an auto rifle. That was pretty much it.
Were you using the shotgun you got when you pre-ordered the game?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I use that too. And I was like, I'm not making it too far in this game with this shotgun. I'm going to switch it up.
It's a red. It's pretty red. Actually, I was using it, then I finally switched it out to a sniper rifle because I finally got one and it had better damage on it. So
yeah, the sniper rifles in this game were so much fun.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, the control points are pretty cool because not only do they give you free gear, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, but they give you free gear every single day, right?
I don't know. I have not been playing it every day, unfortunately.
I'd have to test it because I did log in on a second day, and the storeroom at the capture point was refilled, and I was able to pick more loot out of it. And I know I picked it clean previous day.
Man, I need to go back and check that out.
If that's the case, then daily rewards from all the checkpoints you've captured is a pretty good way to get caught up on gear, especially if you haven't played in a while. So
I'm going to check right now. Why not, right?
Why not? And also, every capture point that you capture essentially becomes a fast travel point too. So getting around the city is a lot quicker now because you're not just relying on safe houses. You have multiple fast travel points. So that is a good improvement over the first game. Outside of that, it's the Division. It's running around a city. It's picking up, intel off the streets, listening to phone conversations, doing missions, getting gear, and pretty much, fighting the same enemies over and over again until you reach that next tier. Then you get a whole new set of enemies, which seem to be like military guerrillas versus people who just want to burn your face off with a flamethrower. So, yay. But yeah, it just feels like the Division all over again with some minor improvements. So if you got bored of the Division the first time around, chances are, unless you enjoy leveling up characters and getting experience and filling out your gear and all that good stuff, it's going to be the same experience, honestly.
And I'm glad that you said that when you first led into this, because that's my problem with the game. I think it's a great game. I agree with everything you said so far. But it still feels like the first game. And that has put me off a little bit. I mean, they've said it gets better when you get closer to the end game, but once you finish the campaign, which I'm going to push through. But yeah, it feels just like the first game, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because the end of the Division, when they finally patched it all up, it was a great game. And this is more of that. But it goes back to my argument that I had before they announced the Division 2. We don't need a sequel. Just keep building on what you already have. There was no reason for you to make a Division 2. But you did it, and you just took everything you learned from the first one and put it into the second one instead of just keep building on the first one. I guess that's just how game development goes. But I am enjoying it. It's just the campaign sucks. The campaign is boring. Go here, do this. Go save these people. Come back. Go do this. Go save more people. Hey, there's a bad guy that comes up. Go kill that guy. Hey, there's more people who need your help. Go help those people. I don't care. I just want to shoot stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. You pretty much nailed it right there. I mean, I think they could have just built on the first Division. Like, I don't know how hard it would have been to implement the capture point system into the first game. I don't know if there was some sort of technical boundary that they had to rewrite the whole game and create a sequel for, or if it was easily patchable in. I mean, I'm not on the back end of it, so I can't answer that. But
as far as I know, it's the same game engine too. So,
yeah, I don't understand why they couldn't just add those features in. I mean, when I looked at the Division 2, I'm like, yeah, there's your mission points, there's your side missions, there's your safe houses. Oh, look, there's your dark zones. This is literally the Division. And
Mace, what system did you get the Division 2 for?
For the almighty glorious PC Master Race.
I'm about to say, you said disc, and I was like, did you buy PlayStation?
No, I actually went out and bought what is known as these rare things known as a PC physical copy.
Those things are super rare. They're like rarer than common sense. I had to think about that for a second.
Essentially, but that's the thing. It's like I've bought my last 3 PC games, which is literally Far Cry 5, Far Cry New Dawn, and Division 2, in physical media.
That does not exist in the United States.
and they're still. But the thing is, I sit there, I install literally 6 discs. So 6 DVDs, because for some reason, Blu-ray versions aren't a fucking thing.
You better hope one of those don't get corrupted.
Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, because every time I've gone and installed the bloody game, I go to the launcher and it goes, yeah, you've got the game, we can see it. We're just still going to re-download it for you.
Yeah.
Why did I bother? Hey?
Did it give you? It didn't give you a code to just put in Uplay?
Yeah, it's got a code there to do it. It's just I figured I'd be saving time and download data by actually, having the physical discs there and just installing it via the discs. But no, Like with the Division, it was like 45 gig over 6 discs, and then it went and downloaded another 45 gig of data on top of that.
Yeah, because I think that extra 45 gigs was the day one patch.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so
I just
it wasn't the game all over again. You basically just got patched. That's what it was.
Yeah, I just loaded up the game. So yeah, the one control point that I looted, there are more stuff in here now. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. So we've been yammering about it. Carl, what did you think of the Division so far? Or have you played it yet?
I've given it a little bit of go since I got it. Pretty much trying to work out, like, do I get through the main bits and pieces before joining up with you guys like we did last time, or
I'm pretty sure
do I do a previous person and wait until everybody else has got really high level and then get dragged through?
Unlike last time, I haven't jumped ahead and power level the character, so I'm level 8. I think last time I asked Josh the other day, he said he was level 8.
Yeah. And that's another thing is leveling seems a little bit slower in this game. Do you find that to be true too?
Yeah, it's because the way they made the experience system before, you could actually cheap it when you got towards higher levels and go pick up those reports or whatever they were to give you more experience. I think they took that out this time around.
Yeah, because I noticed like I need like 32,000 experience to get the next level. It's like the enemy I just killed gave me 35. I'm like, oh. And you go do a mission, it's like, oh, here's like 10,000 experience. Like, oh. So you just front loaded all the experience at the end of missions and gave you nothing anywhere else. So yeah, I guess that's one way to do it. I mean,
this sort of the grind for this does remind me of like our good old vanilla WoW days, of where you actually had to really grind away and really make sure you're doing all the missions, all the side missions, anything that sort of pops up type things, events, whatever, to make sure you maximize your XP gain.
I'm pretty sure somebody will complain and they'll be like, oh, okay, we'll just fix that for you.
See, that's not really a problem for me because especially in RPG style games, and yes, when you're getting gear and you're getting experience, Division 2 is a form of an RPG.
You take it back. No.
I am a completionist, so I will always go to every map.
It's a third-person shooter there, sir. You got it wrong.
Excuse me. All right, fine. In most third-person shooters with RPG elements, I am a completionist. I'll go to a map. I'll complete everything on that part of the map before moving on. And that's what I did. So stuff like that, having to do every mission is not going to bother me because I'm going to do it anyway. So, yeah. I just...
I definitely, I know it's like doing that way as well. That's why I still haven't loaded up Far Cry New Dawn, because I'm still on Far Cry 5, because I'm going around doing every single submission, every little capture point and liberation bits and pieces. So it's like I'm majorly behind everybody else when it comes to Far Cry, but I'm making sure I do the complete experience before I even move on from an area. So I can definitely understand. Like, it's going to be the same in Division. I can see it happening, where it's like, oh, where are you at? I'm still in the first like kind of corner of the game. Why haven't you played everywhere yet?
I haven't done much in this game. Wow, there's a lot of nice stuff in this game. I'm glad that you said that, Josh, because yes, the control points give you gear, and some of the gear is actually really nice.
Well, for your level, obviously.
Yeah, for your level, but that's still not bad. And if you don't want it, you can just, what's the word they use? Deconstruct it or
sell it. Your credits.
Yep. Also, I think what they did was pretty good is you have to keep an eye on the checkpoints and keep giving them resources, because the more you give them resources, the more experience you get. So if you just go around and just pick up stuff, you can build up experience really fast doing that as well.
Yeah, plus it's part of the safe house mission for that area to give them like 50 pieces of resources, so it'll also allow you to capture that whole that area completely and liberate it.
Right. I mean, like I said, it's not a bad game. For me, like I said, it came out at a bad time, right in the middle of Devil May Cry 5 and Sekiro coming out. But this is a game that I'll play for the long term. I do like it. I just need to commit some more time to it. I need for my friends to be on playing it, so I don't play by myself, and so we can do some of the what do you call them? What do you call these things now? They're calling them strongholds.
Strongholds, strikes, missions, whatever. It's get people together and go kill shit and kill a boss, get some loot.
It's friggin' raids.
I mean, they're small ass raids. If you're gonna say they're raids, they're small as hell.
Whatever.
You
get the idea.
Nice.
I do remember them saying they're gonna put more of those in the game, so I really like that because I really wish the first game had a lot more of those. We really need a bunch of them. That said, I did listen to a lot of people that had played the game and said that the city is identical or nearly identical to actual Washington D.C., which is pretty cool. I've seen a lot of people talking about the Smithsonian in there, and I'm like, well, I really want to go check it out now.
Well, so. that's the other thing I've noticed in a lot more games recently, especially those that are using real life locations. The Marvel Spider-Man game on PS4 is another great example. Is that if they're basing it on a specific location, they are making them almost 1-to-1 accurate, which is insane. Oh, yeah.
I mean, well, we've come a long way with the technology, and we can pretty much make games 1-for-1 with our actual real-life counterpart, which is really cool. But at the same time, it's actually also scary. It's like, well, if I wanted to fuck up Washington, D.C., I know where to go.
Oh, shit, I still can't wait to web swing around New York, but, you know.
That would be a sight.
I still don't get why they keep putting all these animals in the game, though. Dogs in the street, deers in the street, and it's like, well,
it's supposed to be like the decay or the fall of man, because there's the whole thing of like, like you've dropped a bomb or there's a virus or something, whatever excuse they're using.
You know what I've been doing? I've been shooting those things every time I see them. Sorry.
Well, good for you.
But
the thing is, there's actually been an outcry from people who have been playing it, saying, if we shoot a deer, we should be able to collect deer meat. Make it a part of the experience. And I'm like, I like that idea. Like, again, you know, pulling out the Far Cry comparison, where if you shoot a bear, you get bear skin. You shoot a deer, you get deer skin and meat. And you can sell that stuff. You know, it's a good idea. If you're going to have them in there, at least have them serve a purpose.
I mean, it is. I mean, but that puts in a whole another subsystem, and then let's put a cooking subsystem in. I'm like, well, we're not. This game is not so far gone where we've collapsed into cavemen. We can still get food and Twinkies.
But that's the thing. You don't need to put in a cooking system just because you're getting meat from animals. You have it as another thing you can sell to generate money. Because then that way you have a secondary source of income besides selling off your weapons.
Speaking of that, thank you for reminding me of that. I do like that almost everything in this game is destructible. Like lights and little figurines and whatnot. I love that. The attention to detail in this game is amazing. I think it's a great game. I don't know which one of us is eventually going to review it, but I'm not going to review this game until I beat the campaign and put some serious time into it. Not throwing any shade at anybody.
That's the thing with Division 2. Especially a lot of these online-focused games where you want to actually make sure that you're playing the multiplayer component, because that's a big part of the game. A lot of places and a lot of people will go, I'm only going to base it on the single-player content and that's it. Well, you're only doing half the game. You're only doing half your job.
You really can't do that for the Division, because Division, the heart of the game is it is a multiplayer game with a single player component, not the other way around. The end game, the instances, the dungeons, whatever you want to call them, that is all multiplayer, and there is where the meat and potatoes of the game actually is. You cannot do that, and if you do that, that's bad.
Exactly, and a lot of people really need to realize that putting out a half-assed review. Yeah, you might get your clicks, you might get your views, whatever, but you're not giving the whole experience a try. And if you're saying, well, I don't want to do multiplayer, well, then I hope your name's fucking Yahtzee because fucking you're the only person that anybody will accept that shit from.
It's like, why are you playing the game then? Why? You know what you're going into. Why would you play it? I will say I do have an issue with certain things in the game. Like you get to certain ledges and you try to fall and it won't let you fall. And it's like, but the ledge is like 2 feet off the ground. Why can't I just fall down here? You got to back up and go back down. Other than that, I love the game. I just wish there was more to do in the campaign, which is kind of boring as hell.
Hey, they could also
and there's no more.
that more
Oh no, they killed Alex. I didn't hear any of that yet.
Oh yeah, I missed that. I haven't killed one Alex in the Division 2. Come on, Ubisoft. What the hell are you doing? I need to kill Alex.
I love that. You've got Alex. None of that. None of it. And is it me or are there more destructive items too? Not what I'm talking about, blowing stuff up like barrels and stuff. I've seen a lot more of those in this game, but I've been using them in my fights.
Yeah,
it's all about being more and more strategic this time, especially with the slightly improved enemy AI. You now have to really consider things. And the
AI has been screwing me up. The AI has been jacking me up at times.
Well, that's because we're used to what we've been doing in Division 1, which is basically rolling in there, guns blazing, going, ha ha ha, we're just steamrolling everything. And this time we actually have to use strategy and we have to have each other's backs. We can't go too far from each other, yet at the same time we need to spread out to get maximum, to kill as many enemies as possible before taking down the boss. We actually have to start using strategy once again.
I love it. I love how the AI is so strategic. Yeah, I love how they flank you, how they run if you're getting too close, if you're taking them out. I love it.
Also, I gotta say kudos to Ubisoft for this because the three of us played the closed or open beta? I forget which one, or was it both?
I played
the closed beta.
The closed beta.
Yeah, we went through that first mission, and at least I found the enemies to be a little overtuned in the health department. Like, I was dying left and right from the damage because, like you said, I'm used to going in guns ablazing and just mowing everything down in the first division, and I wasn't getting anywhere doing that with this one. And then it took forever to kill an enemy almost. Then when it goes live, compared to the closed beta, I realized that the enemy's health was far less because I was killing them really quickly, thus enabling me to go back into run in there and mow everything down mode. And then I found out the damage wasn't nerfed, just the health was. And I got paid for that. I paid for that severely. So good on you, Ubisoft. You got me. All right? You got me. Congratulations.
Do you feel like the enemies in this game are less of a bullet sponge like they were in the first game or more?
I would say less. They die, I think, a little quicker, especially the enemies with the yellow health bars and, all the armor on it. I noticed their armor got peeled off a lot faster and their health went down a lot faster than in Division 1. So I think they're less bullet sponges, and they made up for that by amping up their damage. I mean, that's I think what they did.
Yeah, I was thinking that they are easier to kill. Also, I'm glad they got rid of the buff system, the buffing system where you had to use like the bottles of water and cans of food. I'm glad that's gone because I rarely use that.
I actually never used it. I didn't even realize there was a buffing system. That's how much I used it.
I was like, I'm picking up these bottles of water and I can't use them. And it's like, oh, it's not in the game anymore. They're resources. Okay, great.
I was actually just giving them to random NPCs in the street that needed them, thinking that's what they were for.
No. So I guess so far the verdict is we're enjoying it. We need to put more time to the game.
Yeah, I think we need to put more time into the game and see how it folds out in the end game. But so far, it just feels like the regular Division
the end game
stuff.
Did you play the end game in the closed beta?
No.
Oh, the end game is so much fun. You get the different specializations. Oh, end game is fun.
All right, cool. So I guess that's something to look forward to. So moving on, since we're beating us like a dead deer in the middle of Washington, D.C., Mortal Kombat 11 got a couple of reveals this week. First being Noob Saibot, which I saw the trailer and
Noob Saibot
instantly, considered him as my main.
Wait.
Oh man, I just love the fact that he can actually project a shadow out from himself. He has his teleport slam that he had from Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which I loved. He has the control orb back. that scythe or that hook sickle rather. The fact that his fatal blow, he jumps on your skull, is just absolutely painful to look at. And oh my god, that fatality! Like,
wait, you're the Mortal Kombat lore person here.
Hold on, just before you ask your question, Nikki, I watched this morning, and number one, that fatality. Oh my god, they actually topped the fucking Make-A-Wish. And number two, the voice, Frank motherfucking Welker, sounding like Dr. Claw coming out of Noob Saibot.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
I am sold.
I'm gonna get you, Gadget.
So let me ask my question. So I was watching the trailer. We need to post that, by the way. I was leaving that for the Mortal Kombat people here. I'm more of a Street Fighter guy. He was saying something to Sub-Zero that, Mother would be so disappointed or so proud. Are they brothers? Did I miss something?
Yeah, Beihan and Bihan. Beihan is Noob Saibot, the original Sub-Zero, and Bihan is the one from Mortal Kombat 3 that replaced.
But I thought he died. You know what? They changed so much stuff. I need to read.
Yeah. Remember Mortal Kombat 9? They changed the entire timeline.
Yeah.
Which is what supposedly the main story is about this entire thing. It's about fixing the timeline.
Let's go back in
we
time.
Screwed it up. Now let's fix
everything.
With a boss that is aptly named Chronica.
Yeah.
As if it can't be any more obvious.
Well,
Marty, we gotta go back to the future.
Oh man!
Seriously, we find a way to institute like Marty McFly as like a guest character who runs over them with the DeLorean.
That would be actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like, Sub-Zero, we have to go back to the future. It's your brother, Sub-Zero. We have to do something about your brother. What do you have to do about me?
So, since we're talking about Mortal Kombat, again, you guys have been following a lot. What do you think about it so far? And are you going to check out the beta this upcoming weekend? Not this weekend, but the 28th to the 30th.
Yes, that is actually the start of my vacation from my day job. So I will be putting in a lot of hours into that beta. We gotta get Josh some capture card equipment, man. Yeah. But so far, I'm kind of digging it. I love the changes they've made from Mortal Kombat X to 11 as far as like the combat system goes. I love the fact that attack and defense are now separate meters. And you can actually use them strategically. I love the fact that the combo system feels, I don't know, it kind of feels like the same as like when you got your 1-1-2s and whatever, and it's just going to be like the basic stuff. I mean, I don't expect anything that's in depth like Mortal Kombat 3 was, where you had to really like memorize like 7-button strings. I mean, I think a lot of fighting games these days have been watered down to everything just being either charges, quarter circles, and then your DP inputs and all that good stuff. But it's looking fun. I like the fact that you have different loadouts this time around. So if you want to customize a character to your own play style, it's there, it's available, and you can actually have different fighting styles. You can amplify some of your moves. So it's looking pretty good. As far as the Fatal Blow system replacing like the X-Ray system, that's actually pretty cool. The X-Ray system and the Fatal Blow system are kind of similar. They both have these gruesome moments in the game that make you cringe, and it takes off a huge chunk of meter. And the thing is you got to time it right, because if you miss it, you got to wait for that to come back, and that could basically cost you the match. So you have to make sure your opponent's ready and vulnerable to use it, and you just drop it on them, and then hopefully it leads into a fatality. But those fatal blows themselves look like fatalities in and of themselves. So it's brutal. I'm impressed. I mean, there's one little concern I have, and I think it was Maximilian that was actually playing the closed beta or the stress test. And while he said the net code was really smooth, which is really good to hear, he said that the pacing of the game and the characters felt a little more weighted, a little more like weighed down than the previous installment of the game. So like they moved a little more clunkily, they were slower, they didn't have a quick enough reaction, and that's something that I think Ed Boon addressed, saying that he feels that the speed of the characters needs to be tuned a little bit more. So hopefully we'll see a little bit closer return to the action arcade style that we got from like MK3, but not nearly as fast. I think MKX had a great speed to it. Everything felt natural. So hopefully MK11 does get that same treatment and they don't end up feeling slower, like sluggish weights or anything like that. So yeah, I can't wait for the game. I mean, like I said, I've played every single Mortal Kombat that has ever been released. I love the series to death. It is my wheelhouse for fighting games. I just want to play this game. So April 23rd cannot come fast enough.
What system? What platform?
PS4.
You would. Actually, I'm not going to say that because I have a big issue with fighting games on the PC. I love them on the PC, but the audience isn't there, unfortunately. The fighting games on the PC is a really odd niche, how you want to pronounce it. They put them out on the PC, and it's great. People playing for a short amount of time, and then they dry up. And it's like, well, there's nobody playing the game. Why am I going to play it?
And the biggest factor for me is the controller. I am not a fight stick person. I mean, yes, I grew up playing Mortal Kombat in the arcade, so I have used, quote unquote, fight sticks before. I am just not a fight stick person. And if I were to get it on PC, knowing the way things are going, it would probably be released through Steam, thus pigeonholing me into the Xbox One controller that I have. And that means I would have to use the analog sticks to control my character because the D-pad, even on the newer controllers, is still wonky for me.
Not necessarily. A lot of developers have been getting better putting DualShock 4 in their games.
Yeah, but I still think that Sony has the best D-pad out of all the controllers. I mean, I'm not talking about analog sticks. I'm just talking about pure D-pad. They've used the same exact D-pad since the very first PlayStation, and for whatever reason, any fighting game I play that has D-pad enabled on PS4, I just feel natural using that D-pad. So that is my go-to controller for any fighting game. So that means PlayStation is my go-to system for any type of fighter that comes out.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can't really say too much more because Josh has pretty much said all of the same stuff that I do. I grew up in. Hey, no, excuse me, my phone. But fighting games, like you said, Keith, they're a niche market on the PC. Yeah, you get graphical superiority, fluid, more movement, guaranteed 60 FPS. But again, I think a lot of people have just become so used to fighting games being done on consoles, going back to Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat being on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis, that they just got used to the controller over the time. It happened. A lot of people don't really use fight sticks unless you're really playing in the pro gaming community. So, and fight stick support on the PC is not all that great, to be honest. You got to use 10,000 third-party fucking software. Same with controllers if you want to use PS4.
It depends. I'm not trying to defend it, but it depends what total interface that controller has.
Well, yeah.
X-input or, native, and that's a big thing. But that comes down to developers. And like I said,
the main just to keep you, just to go back to Mortal Kombat in specific, though I don't mean to cut you off that much, Keith. I'll cut you off. That's fair enough. Hey, keep beep, motherfucker. Mortal Kombat, basically, I've been enjoying the story over the last couple of games. Like their story modes for Mortal Kombat 9 and 10 have been absolutely phenomenal. And it's like, you would never think of a fighting game having a story mode, and now just about every fighting game has a story mode because of what Mortal Kombat did.
I would say just Mortal Kombat. There were some games like KI back in the day had a story mode too. Street Fighter had sort of a story mode.
No, you had those games had lore pieces where you see storylines play out through the endings. I'm talking like a straight, full-blown written story mode.
Yeah, they
didn't really.
KI. Well, not so much in the other ones, but they really did a big time with the new KI with what was it, Shadow Lord?
The Xbox One?
Yeah.
I never played it, so I didn't know about it. To me, it was all started with Mortal Kombat 9.
But yeah, there's not a lot of fighting games to do that because I know we're getting off track, but most people don't play a fighting game for the story. But that's good because that gets people in. That gets people into the game who normally wouldn't want to play a fighting game because they don't want to just play people online or whatnot, and that's great.
Yeah, but I'm probably going to skip the beta only because it's only a couple of weeks before the main game comes out. So what you're essentially playing is hey, you just paid for a demo. And stress tests 4 characters.
You want the characters, so
well, yeah.
You want Shao Kahn?
I want Shao Kahn.
So you got to pre-order.
I'm going to when I get paid. Pay it off all in one shot. I'm even stupid enough to go and buy the Ultimate Edition to make sure I get that season pass on day 1.
So let's cut this because we've been talking Mortal Kombat for a while. What's one character that has not been revealed yet that you want in the game?
Oh, good question.
Josh, sounds like you had a long-winded speech there.
Sure. But man, if it was one character, there's a lot of characters that have not been announced yet that I would love to see in the game. But if there's one that I could probably pinpoint it on, I'm going to go with a classic character. I want to see Reptile in the game.
Really?
Yeah. He's actually one of my favorite characters.
Carl?
Oh, God. How do you really...
I mean, you can say more than one.
There's the thing is, there's billions of characters. Like, okay, I want them to confirm Liu Kang playable.
I do want to see that. Him and Katana, I want them back.
Him and Katana, both of them. I want them playable. I'm right with Josh. I want to see another Reptile. I want to see maybe but then again, I've forgotten the stories of both games. I want a Kintaro or a Goro, sort of big monster character as a sub boss.
How about we go back to Mortal Kombat 3 and bring back Shiva then?
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been asking for Shiva.
Yeah, I'd be right there with that. Bring back Chameleon, just for something a bit different. Whatever happened to Rico? Or if you really want to troll people, let's bring back Striker again.
Oh God!
But it's
why'd you have to go there?
Because I like trolling people. It's like we got a glimpse of Frost in Mortal Kombat X. Why is she not a playable character again? There's.
Or how about that other one? The one that was supposed to be along with Kung Lao. What was her name? Ashra, I think it was.
Yeah. Bring back Bo Rocho again. I like Bo Rocho because I like farting on people for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm surprised nobody says
been so many. It's because nobody wants Sindel. Everybody hated Sindel. She was a plot device. She was terrible.
I thought she was popular. Huh.
No.
And the funny thing is, once we saw Kano confirmed, that killed all hopes of Jarrett coming back.
Yeah, thank God for that. He's still falling off that cliff with his very terrible voice acting.
Yeah, he is. And plus,
you know what we
need a replacement anyway.
And you know what we haven't seen so far yet? Where are our robot ninjas?
Oh yeah, where's Cyrax and Sector and hell? I mean, is Smoke still even human anymore? Who knows?
No.
In the current storyline, I think he's human because they interfered, which is why we got Robot Sub-Zero.
But then again, he was a part of Triborg, wasn't he not?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was too. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Ed Boon, can you keep your own shit straight for 5 minutes, please?
This is why we have time travel in this one, so he can say everything goes and we'll sort it out in the end.
Can we bring back Rain?
Actually, let's bring back Nightwolf. He was a cool character too.
Yeah,
yeah, he was. Yeah,
especially in this day and age where everybody's jumping up and down and going, "We want diversity. We want diversity." Well, there you go. Bring back the the Native American Nightwolf character and have him kick ass.
I don't know, because they did that in Killer Instinct and people started complaining. You can't make people happy.
We could always bring back shit. Oh wait, no, can't do that. He's just ahead. Or we could always bring back Meat, or the ultimate Mortal Kombat character, Mocap.
Ah, yes, good old Mocap. Or what
I don't
was
know,
the one they all on fire? Was that
I'm
Torch or
just
something like
glad
that, or
Spawn
Blaze?
wasn't announced today.
Blaze. You're thinking Blaze.
Oh,
Like,
man.
there's so
DLC character. I was like, no, I don't want to see Spawn in here. Thank you.
No, he's already been done as a special character. He was in was it Soul Calibur 2 on the Xbox?
So let's talk about that for a second then. We've seen a lot of special characters come up. We've seen Jason, we've seen Leatherface, we've seen Freddy Krueger, we've seen Alien, Predator. Like, who would you like to see in Mortal Kombat 11 as a special character? Personally, I think it's been overdue. The one character in gaming history that would fit perfectly in Mortal Kombat, motherfucking Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden. Where is he?
He's in Dead or Alive.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be there. He needs to be in Mortal Kombat.
I was going to say Donald Trump.
To be honest, what I would actually like to see, and this would require a lot of Warner Brothers and DC sort of stepping back out of control. Give us Batman and Joker.
Really?
Properly done in the Mortal Kombat universe. Because think about it, like the Joker being able to actually shoot people properly and stuff like that, he'd fit right in with that type of mentality.
But wasn't he? Didn't he do
Batman,
that in Injustice?
He did, but they censored it in everywhere except for, I think it was either the European copies or the Japanese copies. But it's like none of this heroic brutality bullshit. Let Batman really go to fucking town. Because they've got the Injustice license, so why not play a little bit with that? And the other thing is, if you really want to complete your 1980s slasher collection, they need to bring in Michael Myers and they need to bring in Chucky.
Huh.
What would have been cooler is if Chucky was actually a substitute for Ferrator. Like replace Farrah up on top of Chucky doll.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Mortal Kombat. All right, guys. I think we need to move along to our next topic. Oh, wait. No, we don't have another topic other than Google Stadia.
That's a topic. You were all excited about this. Now you're just like, I've been talking about it so much on social media.
Everybody's been asking me to talk about it, and I talked about it again last night on the Intel Entertainment podcast. It was like, hey, talk about this. I'm like, Stadia. Okay, so let's talk about Stadia for a second. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. So Google is finally getting involved with gaming. They're actually putting a decent effort in with their Stadia initiative, as I like to call it. Their gaming solution in the cloud where you can play games on your TV, your laptop, your PC, your smartphone. And I think it is a nice idea. It is the evolution of gaming, I like to say. I know a lot of people are saying the same thing. But there are a lot of things that Google didn't touch on. And there are a lot of variables that are going to cause a lot of issues for people if they don't fall into place properly. The first being broadband. Broadband is a big issue. I know Carl states that all the time while being in Australia, how messed up the internet is over there. But in the United States, our internet is crap. We got places that have good internet, but for the most part, Midwest, North or Central North America, the internet is terrible. We've got this big stretch of land where people are still using DSL, people are using satellite. We've got ISPs in there that are putting data caps in. People can barely get 10 down, 5 up. It's really bad. And the requirements for Stadia are actually really high. I mean, they're downplaying saying, oh, you only really need 20, 25 megs for 1080p, 60 frames per second. But I'm like, 25 megs down, 25 megs up. That's not something that everybody has access to. We shouldn't downplay that. And then when they came back out and was like, oh, hey, we're going to also do 4K, 60 frames per second HDR, I'm like, that's quite a bit more overhead. And they were talking about in an article elsewhere that they're saying they got compression techniques down that you may need just a 30 meg connection. Okay, a 30 meg connection is still a lot more than what most people have. So broadband is a big deal. And then we also got to talk about the input latency. They're also downplaying that, saying, well, this has less latency than a DualShock 4 controller. Okay, I don't buy that. You need to actually show me the data that says that otherwise, because I know some people that were there playing the game. They were playing Doom, and they were saying the latency is terrible. And that was in a controlled environment. So you've got to show me a lot more than what you're saying. They also said, they said that people can use any other controller they want or use the Stadia controller, which isn't true. Found out that if you're using the Chromecast Ultra dongle for TV, you can only use the Stadia controller. PC, smartphone, laptop, Chromebook, whatever. Those guys can use a Bluetooth controller, not the TV dongle. And while we're talking about the controllers, I want to know your guys' input. I don't like the fact that you're putting a microphone on a damn controller. Why do we need that?
I don't see an issue with it.
I don't either.
Yeah. It saves you having to it saves you having to spend extra money or having to use their little pack-in little earbud thing that they usually do.
But they didn't say it was for that. They just said it is for talking to them for assistance from them.
Okay.
I mean, people already have an issue with that with Google Home and Echo Dot and things listening to them already. And Google does not have the best track record when it comes to putting microphones.
But at the same time, those things are still selling like hotcakes. Fuck it. We've had webcams with fucking microphones for decades now. People leave them plugged in. People like you and I, we leave our headsets plugged in to our machines. Fucking wired by USB. There's nothing stopping people who are going to be malicious with that stuff using that stuff for nefarious purposes. It's going to happen.
I don't have a concern with it because, like you said, I have Google Homes everywhere, and if you're going to pick up my conversation, me telling my kid shut the hell up, or my wife's yelling at me, then all right, pick up. That's fine. You're not going to get any super secrets from me. I'm not going to be like, my bank account is XY266456, and
Yeah, exactly. And most people these days are smart enough not to do that shit. So I don't see why people are still going, the Googles are listening to me. Because you bought the fucking thing. You knew what exactly you were getting into when you bought it. So, shut the fuck up.
That's
okay,
just like
so they decide to put one in the fucking controller. Who cares?
The disclaimer they have to put on them because like people were complaining that they didn't know there was a microphone. But it's like, you knew there was a microphone in it. Why do people need to put a disclaimer on it to tell you there's a microphone in it when you knew what you? Anyway, I'm going to keep rolling from there because I'm going to go on a tangent and I'm just going to talk about people's stupidity, and I'd rather not do that right now.
That's another podcast.
Oh my God, that could be a series of podcasts. Hang on.
My personal opinion on this Stadia, whatever you want to fucking call it, the Google thing, the Google gaming console thing. Like you said, my internet here in Australia, I'm probably sitting at the peak of what we can get. And that's like 50 down and 15 up. That's sort of becoming our stock. That's still not bad. That's becoming our stock standard here, which is good. But it's still not going to be enough for a constant stream. Like, you got to think about it in other things. We're talking about what is essentially going to be a wireless console, from what I've read. And wireless signals are not always the strongest, depending on what type of modem you have.
Well, we don't know exactly. We don't. Okay, here's the problem with that. So let's talk about that. If you're using it with the dongle, there are USB adapters you can plug it into right now, so you can use a wired Ethernet connection. For your laptops, your PCs, Chromebooks, whatever, tablets, you can also get a USB adapter for Ethernet. The only issue with other things like that are going to be like smartphones. Those are going to have a problem. But I don't see that as being a real big issue. I mean, wireless inside the house, you can control. That's still a controlled environment. You can take care of that. You can set up repeaters. You can set up Wi-Fi boosters. You can get a better Wi-Fi setup. That's not too much of my concern, because that still provides you a decent downstream to your router out to your house. I'm more concerned about their actual bandwidth requirements from their data center to your home, and also the input latency. Because, like I said, I played Project Cloud or Project Stream, and I didn't think it was bad. But there definitely was some input latency that you definitely could see, which is probably why they chose Assassin's Creed Odyssey, to see how far or how much they can get away with. I think that was a good test. But like I said, there were times where I would hit a button and be like, well, the character is not doing anything. And other times it was very responsive. Obviously, that was the start of whatever they're working on now. So we have no idea how far along they've come. They're not really saying. They're just saying, hey, trust us, we got this. We've been doing tests, and we've got the data, and we got the stuff, and the secret sauce is in there, and your experience is going to be great. When we talked about this earlier, and I said I didn't have a concern about Stadia, I think it might do well, because I don't think this is being positioned towards hardcore gamers. I don't think this is being positioned or being developed for, created for, however you want to say it.
It's for the casual market. Just call it
for the casual market. Exactly. It's for people that don't want a box in their front room or whatever. They just want to jump into a game at any given moment. Want the factor, and that's
see, the other thing for me, it's like, okay, you want the community, you want people, and we're running a Google architecture, so it's Android based. What are we going to look at in terms of games?
Well, they said it's going to be.
Well, they said yeah, okay, we got the new Doom Eternal coming out for it and stuff like that. But do you really think that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to jump on board with all their AAA titles, saying, "Hey, we can do this, and we'll put this out there for Android architecture," and then, how many people are just going to go, "Well, we already have a mobile version of this out. Why don't you just use the mobile version?"
So that's a good conversation piece. Let's talk about that. So they didn't really say it was Android. They said it's Linux. It's a Linux-based. Android is Unix-based, so bits and pieces. It could be. They weren't really talking about that. They said they'll probably tell us more summer 2019. But Linux gaming, despite a lot of people advocating for it, it's not super popular because of a lot of reasons, and mostly because developers don't want to develop for both an x86 architecture and for Linux, or for a Windows platform and for a Linux platform. There are some that have gotten on board with it, but again, it's not as big as people want it to be. I don't know if that's going to be a factor either. It could be. Who knows? But I really don't want what you just said to happen, them taking their mobile versions of the game and saying, oh, hey, here. I don't think Google would take that. I think Google would be like, you're stupid. We're not doing this. Because if they really want to position themselves as the fourth player in this market, they can't do that. We saw what happened with Ouya. Everybody putting their crap on there. We saw what happened in the beginning with NVIDIA Shield. Google is not going to take that. Google is not going to want that.
So we're going to see Google flexing its monetary muscle, basically like Disney.
Oh hell
does,
yeah! You know,
and say, hey, we want this. We're going to give you X million dollars to not only port it but make it exclusive to us.
Well, that's going to be another issue, and that also said before, we don't want another Epic Game Store issue. But I mean, let's be honest. This has been something that's been a problem on consoles since consoles been around. It wasn't so much of a big
the thing is, it's not so much an Epic Game Store thing. It's more a literal Disney thing. like Disney walking around going, I want that, I'm going to buy it. I want that, I'm going to buy it. Google has that type of money. Turn around and say, hey, Microsoft, you see all those rare games that you have there? I want them. Exclusives, 12 months, 24 months. Here's money. Or
Well,
here's
here's my take on.
Hey,
Here's my
Sony.
take on that.
Hey, Sony, here's your latest exclusive. We're taking that from you. Here's money.
Sony would not play ball with that. I can tell you, Sony would be like, you're fucking stupid. And the
Hey,
reason for that
Nintendo,
is
we want Mario. How much?
Nintendo won't do it either. The reason why this is the reason why. Market share. You need to have a really big market share to command that kind of power. You can have as much money as you want, and Nintendo will be like, oh, so you want Mario, but we've got 20 million Switches out in the world. How many Stadias have you sold so far? How much money are we going to recoup on this? Nah, no thanks. They've got to have the market share before they can start demanding the big games. I mean, if they have to. I mean, there's no way to get around that. They literally have to. The only person that I can see going to them directly and saying, here's our stuff, maybe is Microsoft, because they sort of decided they want to embrace every platform out there. You know, we're getting Microsoft games on the Switch. We're getting Xbox Live features on the Switch. And they're open with that. But Microsoft also has their upcoming cloud-based platform as well. They may not want to do that because I'm not sure if you saw what happened after Google showed off Stadia, that Phil Spencer was like, yeah, that's nice, but you didn't show us anything new. Oh, by the way, watch out for us at E3 2019. So I don't know how many friends Google is going to have when Stadia is released. They will be using their monetary value, and that's for damn sure.
Yeah. Well, outside of being like, well, they were trying to be the first streaming only console on the market, but I think Microsoft's even going to beat them to that punch, really. Like,
well, they already have,
excluding things like Ouya and the Shield and stuff like that. They were like very they're experimental things. So let's call them what they are. They're prototypes.
Yeah.
This is meant to be honestly, first 100% dedicated machine, and even Microsoft's going to beat them to the punch on that.
Well, it's not even a machine. That's the thing. Their whole thing is they don't want any kind of box whatsoever. Their whole thing is we don't want you to have to be depending on a physical piece of hardware, unless you're talking about, you know, TV, because they need the dongle. It'll be software. And if you're talking about software, they're not the first people in the market. NVIDIA now, we've got Liquid Sky, we've got Shadow, which is actually really impressive for the PC. PlayStation was doing it with PlayStation Now. It did not do very well because I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Sony kind of does things half-baked and just drops it. They actually had something good with PlayStation Now, and then they just I don't know what the hell they're thinking. And we've got a bunch of other people. So Google is not the first, but they're trying to act like they're the ones who are going to perfect it. And let's be honest, you're never going to perfect cloud-based gaming. You're not going to do it. There is always going to be an issue of latency and input latency. Always. I'm waiting to see what happens at E3 2019. I'm waiting to see what Google does with their rollout. I want to know what the pricing structure is. I want to know what games you're going to have come out. And then I want to see if you're going to actually involve people that really matter. No disrespect to Matt Pad or any of the big YouTubers, but I don't care about those people because I can't trust them. I care about the people that go out and buy their own stuff, provide feedback, and the people that they're going to sell this stuff to. The small people. The people that are going to be stuck saying, hey, I bought this and it's not working and I can't get any help. Those people. Not the big YouTubers, not the big streamers, the people that are going to be buying us, the people that are actually spending their money on it, not the people that are going to go, oh, hey, you're an influencer for us here. Take this and go do this. I want you to work with those people and give them what they want. Let them help build this service. That's all I got to say about Stadia. We'll find out more at E3 2019.
You know, when you speak about E3, kind of like a small little bonus topic here, it's kind of funny you mention that because Microsoft's kind of the only company now making a showing at E3 because Nintendo does their Direct, PlayStation pulled out, and now they're doing their State of Play thing, which is kind of like their own version of Nintendo Direct. EA pulled out of E3 this year. So it's really crumbling down. So, like, the question I want to ask is, what do you guys think of State of Play / Nintendo Direct? Do you think that's the way that all companies should be going from now on, just having these smaller updates throughout the year?
No. Nintendo Direct came because Nintendo was trying to save money. They didn't want to keep going to E3. And Nintendo has, even though Nintendo is not at E3, Nintendo always has a big presence at E3. They always have huge booths at E3. When I went 2017, their booth was one of the biggest ones there. And they weren't there. They had a Direct. EA doesn't really go to E3. They haven't in the last couple of years. They have conferences around the same time where they're not actually in the Los Angeles Convention Center. For Sony not being there, I mean they might come back. I think, and they said it. They don't have anything to show off, so why should they be there? Which I think is bad. If you're part of the game industry, you should at least show that you're here. You should be there. Microsoft's going to be there. Microsoft was there last year. They didn't have anything super big to show up, but they were there. Why not you? Why aren't you there? I don't think that's the future. I think as long as there's actually something people want to get hands on, people want to see directly, there will always be a reason to have an E3 or something like E3. As for E3 itself, yeah, the value of E3 is slowly decreasing because these companies are pulling out or not going to be there. There's always smaller things there. When I went there, I said I thought this was a bad show because it wasn't set up to accommodate all the people that were coming to check out the show. It was more like a giant sales floor. People were showing off what they had, what's coming up, and not enough room for people to play games and check out the game.
Yeah, fair enough. How about you, Carl? Any final thoughts on that?
To be honest, I used E3s to find out what was going on with PAX later in the year. Because a lot of the stuff that comes out at E3, that's what we get in Australia later on in the year at PAX Australia. But even then, like, those type of shows are getting better than E3 in most respects. Because they actually take the time to dedicate it to being, just person-friendly. Whereas Keith said, E3 is now becoming basically a show floor. This is one of those events that is meant to be there for stockholders, media types, commercial sellers, all that type of stuff, to see what's coming out for the stuff that they're going to need to have on shelves in the next 12 months. And the fact that the public are just allowed in is just a bonus. So, the fact that a lot of these companies are now deciding, hey, we don't want to do it this way, we want to actually directly go to our fans, which we can do at any time just by throwing up a YouTube video, then, hey, good on them. They want to connect with the fans more than they want to connect with the commercial aspect, which is the way it should be. Because the fans are the ones that are buying the games, not the commercial sellers. They're just the middlemen.
Yeah, very good point. So, gentlemen, I think that's going to bring us to the end of this podcast this week. Do you have any final thoughts before we kick on out of here?
I have an interesting story to tell. So I've had a Super Nintendo Classic since they came out. I never hooked it up. I hooked it up 2 days ago after I finished redoing my office. And I said, hey, look, to my wife. I finally hooked it up. And I said, hey, look, Super Mario World's on here. And I gave her the controller. She jumped on the controller. She played for a little bit. She sucked at it. I went to take the controller back. She looked at me and snatched it out of my hand and stayed playing the game for about a good hour. And then she came back in my room earlier when she got off work today when I was playing Shuriko. And she was like, can I play Super Mario World? And I looked at her like, no, you can't. And she gave me the most evil look.
Aw, let the poor girl play.
I told her she can
go back. It's like, motherfucker, do you want to sleep on the couch tonight?
I may not leave the office tonight because I'll be too busy playing that game. So I don't care.
Don't you have like 18 TVs in that bloody house that you could just like be like, here, I'll give you the mini Super Nintendo and hook it up somewhere else so you can play it?
I have a system, and I have a system, and every system, every console is in a place, and it stays there. It goes nowhere. Because if it leaves my room, it may never come back.
Like
Fair enough.
he leave his room and he goes into like the void. Like all consoles just enter the void, never
Or
to
it gets
return.
broken and smashed up, and
The void, otherwise known as his kids.
and nobody knows
Yes.
what happened to it. What happened to it? Oh, I don't know what happened to it. Okay, and that happens all too much. So I'd rather avoid that if possible.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How about you, Carl? Any final thoughts?
Final.
Even though we didn't touch on it during the Mortal Kombat segment, I just want to say kudos to Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios for doing the most awesome thing that they could have done for this game, and that's bring back Kerry Tagawa as Shang Tsung. You know, sure,
Yes.
he's a DLC character, but dude, you bring back the old school movie version of Shang Tsung to not only be a DLC character, but to be your guide through the crypt, which is now done on Shang Tsung's island, which is now in ruins. And to hear his voice as Shang Tsung once again, glorious.
All I can say to that is, it has begun. I can't do it as well as he does, but
Your soul is mine.
You guys sound like a couple of fanboys. I'm just saying.
we are fanboys.
How about shut the fuck up, Keith?
There you go. And my final thoughts. This is a video game podcast, not an anime podcast, but I am looking forward to season 2 of High Score Girl because I get to see an anime about old school 90s Capcom arcade titles all over again. So I get to enjoy that. So yeah, there you go. That's going to do it for this episode of the Spectator Mode podcast. Make sure to follow us on all the social media stuff because we'll have the links in the show notes for you because we got too many to list here. So for Keith Mitchell, for Carl May Smart, I am JJ Pietro saying Godspeed to all you out there in Radio Land. Peace.